for watching. You may well be aware of the fact that the church is facing serious difficulties. The ongoing decrease in numbers of laity, of members of religious congregations, and the clergy means that we have to think of alternative ways of spreading the good news, bringing the good news to the people. And this is why we have decided to offer 2 new and exciting summer school programs for the very first time. One of these summer school programs is on the Gospels and the call to discipleship. The Gospels are meant to have an influence in our lives. They're the good news. I'm thinking of a story where a mother was driving home from church and her 7-year-old son was in the back seat when the son said all of a sudden, "Mom, during the priest's homily today, he said that God is alive in all of us. Is that true?" And the mother said, "Well, sure, it's true. I mean, that's what he said, and we believe it, yeah." And then the son said, "But Mom, the priest also said that God is much greater than we are, or anyone else for that matter. Is that also true?" And the mother said, "Yes, that's also true." And then the son said, "But Mom, I don't understand this. If God is greater than we are, and God lives within each of us, why doesn't he show through?" I think this is what's meant to happen. God is meant to show through in our Christian life, in our everyday life. And in order to be people, carriers of the good news, we need to understand the good news. We need to understand what the Gospels are all about. Why there are 4 Gospels in our canon of Scriptures. Why John is so vastly different from the other 3. And why the 3 are so much alike, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, in many areas. Did they plagiarize? Did they copy from one another? See, it used to be thought that Matthew was the original writer, and then that Mark was only an epitome, a summary of Matthew's Gospel. And that's why Matthew is listed first and Mark is listed second in the New Testament. But the truth is, today, biblical scholars say, well, Mark probably was the original one, the first one. And then the others, Matthew and Luke, followed with their versions of the Gospel. So why are they so different? Well, we always have to think about the fact that we have the story of God, and they're meant to say something about God. We have the story of the Gospel writer, the evangelist. We have the story of the audience that was listening to the writer. And then we also always have our very own personal story. Let us become carriers of the good news. Join us in our summer school program on the Gospels and the call to discipleship.